Hi everyone, it's me, Carrie. So recently, I set myself this goal to try to beat the game Balatro on Black Deck Gold Stake twice in a row to add a bit of extra challenge. And what you're watching right now is my first time succeeding in that, hooray! But the run you're watching right now is not actually one of the two wins, and that's why I started it halfway through, but I figured I could just ramble over the top of it about why I like the game and why I set myself this arbitrary task. So, first of all, Balatro is not a gambling game. There's no real money to be won or lost. It is a one-time purchase when you buy the game, but that's like when you buy any game like Spore or Pac-Man or whatever. And the reason I like this game is because it is so heavily strategy-based, so there's no timing or like dexterity involved. It's purely making decisions along the way to kind of create a bigger setup. And what I like is how complicated the synergies and anti-synergies get. So like there's some jokers where it's like, I would never get that. It's an awful joker that kills other jokers. But sometimes you're in a situation where it's like, I'm in this very particular state where getting that joker that's normally bad is actually good, and I think that's just very interesting. Anyway, in this run, you can see that I'm trying to score 2,000 points. That's the number in red in the upper left, and I'm trying to defeat this boss called the Fish, which will turn over some of my cards to be face down, so I can't tell what they are. So I'm constantly checking the deck to see like what options they could be, and I'm trying to play two pairs. So you can see there's two jacks right there, but I don't know if the other ones are a pair. But I have three hands, and I'm going to get into that later. So every hand to try to get to 2,000 should score around 667, right? But you can see that I'm barely passing that. Like, I've played two of my three hands, and I'm at 1344, so it's getting really down to the wire. So let me just, like, okay, watch this. So 2,000 is what I need. I end up scoring 1,992, so I'm, like, only 8 points away, so I lost. So I had to restart the game, right? Okay, so let me explain what Black Deck means. So every deck has a certain either restriction or like power up that it gives you to make the game either harder or easier. Oh, this is also like a straight ace high, which is like, I think one of the most aura hands you can play just because it's like, you know, not as likely to pull. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Round one doesn't matter. So Black Deck means that you start with one fewer hand. So instead of starting with 4 hands, you start with 3. In exchange for that, you gain a joker slot. So usually you can see at the top where it says 1 out of 6 in those small white numbers. Usually it says 1 out of 5. You have 5 joker slots. But Black Deck gives you a 6th one, which allows for more synergies, of course. But the thing is, in the early game, for the first couple antes, you're not going to have 5 or 6 jokers because you haven't bought them yet. So it's really only a detriment to lose that hand. And that also means like less money when you finish each round, because the money you get for each round is based on how many leftover hands you have. So really, like, the first few antes on Black Deck Gold Stake are just like killer. Like, it's very punishing. If you don't one-shot that first like round, you're like doomed. And then Gold Stake means that there's a lot of other restrictions added on. One of them is -1 discard. That's at the blue stake level. So instead of 3 discards, we start with 2. That's the red number in the lower left. Yeah, I guess like this video is probably like not geared for beginners, of course, but like whatever. So is this the round that oh no, I did. This is not the round I win, because I bought the egg to get good econ, and I think that honestly, the earlier you get econ in these gold stake runs, the better you're going to be, because you can actually survive the first 3 rounds without any extra scoring. But like econ kind of builds exponentially because of the interest. So anyway, I pulled this. Okay, look, 8-ball temporary, and then Zany Joker, but Eternal and Rental, and like that's the most ass Joker ever. So I was forced to pull 8-ball. Like, very rarely will I ever pull 8-ball, but like I had no other option because I'm not gonna pay $3 and have no choice. So anyway, I restart again, kind of like rage quit. Anyway, this is the run that is going to go well. I guess I shouldn't spoil things, but it's like this isn't like a cinematic masterpiece, so it's like whatever. So when I pull a 3 of a kind like that, I usually keep the 3 of a kind and try to get a full house, because odds are another pair will be pulled, and then you can play a full house, which is guaranteed to one-shot unless you have like 2s or 3s or something. Okay, so look at this. So I get an Eternal Joker stencil, and that's really good because at the beginning, so Joker stencil multiplies your score based on how many empty Joker slots you have. This means if you add a Joker stencil to an already filled out Joker setup, it won't help you much because it'll be like ×1 mult because there's only 1 empty slot. But if you buy at the very beginning, like here, there's 6 empty Joker slots, so it's ×6 mult. So a flush, which normally scores around 300 points, it's gonna boost it all the way up to 1,800, like right here. So I easily one-shot this first boss, and I don't have to worry about scoring for a while. But like I said earlier, econ is going to be the most important thing to get off the ground. So I can see there's Faceless Joker, which can give me like $4 if I discard the right face cards. I don't remember if I get it or not. I guess I got a stand. No, I didn't. What am I doing? I think I'm thinking right now, because there's a lot of like decent options. I think I often want to find blue seals, because when you are trying to limit the jokers you have, because of Joker Stencil, it's just better to level up your hands. Anyway, so I want to talk about why. Okay, so yeah, still one-shotting, but it's getting by a smaller and smaller margin each time. So why did I decide to make this challenge for myself of winning twice in a row? So there's one thing that like happens to the speedrunning community a lot that I think is a downside. Okay, so I got clearance sale, so things are cheaper, but I'm down to $6. Anyway, there's this thing that I like to call the reset grind. So if you imagine, okay, I can just play a flush here. Like if you imagine speedrunning Minecraft, which is very RNG focused, then a lot of times to get a world record in a category, you have to just reset over and over until you get a very lucky seed. And it still requires a lot of skill to play well on that seed. But if you have a seed that has like a really far away bastion, or there's no pirate ships to loot, then you're just like, you're just not going to win even with the best skills. So you could spend all day just resetting, and to me, that doesn't feel very satisfying. So I was trying to think, like, what's a way to solve that? Like, obviously, games with RNG aren't awful games, but we need to find a good balance. And I think cubing has sort of taught me a good one. Also, there's econ right there. See, the business card is, like, temporary, but I still want to go for it. Anyway, I think, yeah, also full house is good if you want to go for a full, like, face card hand. Anyway, so with speed cubing, we have things called singles and averages, and my single fastest time is on a very, very lucky scramble. It's like 6.02 seconds or something, and then it'll only happen on like the luckiest 0.1% of scrambles, because it was a PLL skip, which is 1 in 72, but also like F2L is very lucky. So if I were only caring about single best times, that would demotivate me from ever cubing again, because the odds that I pull a scramble like that again are so low. Okay, so now I'm one-shotting by more because I leveled up full house. Anyway, so I think that like we also track averages of 5, averages of 12, averages of 100, because those will gravitate towards your mean a lot more, your global average. I leveled it up again. And that means that like the incremental increases in your true skill level, which are kind of harder to measure, come through a lot more, and the rate of improvement becomes much more gradual and measurable. So yeah, basically, you know, this is a rule that we see, like law of large numbers. The bigger the sample size, the more accurate the reading is. So when it comes to like, oh, someone got the Minecraft speedrun world record, a part of me is like, maybe we should, instead of just like having expecting all these speedrunners to reset and they get the fastest lucky god seed ever, then like maybe we should just average a consecutive group of 5 speedruns of Minecraft, and the time will be a lot slower, like maybe double the time, because you might get a faraway bastion half the time. But like what it means is that if you do get a god seed run, or like in Balatro you get a god seed, like maybe this is a god seed already because it has a Joker stencil. By the way, I also got the clubs Onyx Agate, which makes all my clubs be +7 molt, and that's really important because the stencil needs to multiply on top of something, so that's a good base molt. So I guess from here on out I'm going to be playing club fleshes. I think that I'm going to abandon the idea of full houses. So even though I leveled that up, whatever, because like the molt is just gonna be so great. Like look at that, like the flint doesn't stand a chance because it's so additive. Anyway, what happens when I do this challenge of do 2 black deck in a gold stake wins in a row is the first win is kind of easy because you can just farm for lucky seeds. But once you get that first win, the next win or the next run, you cannot just re-roll, like reset grind until you get a good seed again, because that, like, you know, violates the two in a row rule. You have to work with what you have. And sometimes like I'll go into a seed and I'll be like, this is actually not like one that I would normally like to continue because I don't one-shot the first round or something, but I have to this time. Like it forces me to think on the fly and try something a bit harder. Oh, I guess I played full house. Wait, I got rid of, oh, I didn't, okay, I guess I wasn't paying attention to the recording, but it looks like I got rid of the Onyx Agate, whatever you call it. Okay, now more econ. Well, the thing is, when I add econ like that gold Joker, I'm decreasing the stencil's power from ×6 to ×5, but on a logarithmic scale, that's not really that big of a deal because ×6 and ×5 are so close. And I guess my goal is to play full houses all the way home. So anyway, that's one thing I thought about. Another thing I thought about is like, okay, so I have already gotten completionist plus on Balatro. Oh yeah, so I guess full house gets me up to 22k. And I guess if I got rid of golden Joker, it would be like 28k, but I don't need to worry about that right now. Okay, Eternal Mime's not that useful if I don't have many like gold or steel cards, which I don't. Oh, I'm getting lucky, or maybe I got the telescope voucher, I don't know. Anyway, like if I've already gotten completionist plus on Balatro, but I haven't gotten plus, and that feels like an eternity away to try to get stickers on every Joker, you know, maybe another way to keep these sort of like mid-tier gamers engaged is to measure their rolling average of how often they win, or like what their average of 5 or average of 12 antes of their last games are, and that will also like disincentivize constant resetting. Yeah, so anyway, the other interesting thing I want to talk about this concept is the idea of like O of n squared versus O of n. So let's say you're true. Okay, there's a straight right there, but I'm not playing for straights, so that's actually not aura. But anyway, so let's say your overall win rate on Black Deck Gold Stake is something, it felt like 1 in 50 when I first started. Now it's like a lot higher, obviously. Okay, there's a full house. But let's say, okay, let's just, for the sake of argument, say it's 1 in 100. Then you have to play on average 100 games to win once. But to win twice in a row, it's on the scale of 1 in 100 squared, or 1 in 10,000. It might be like 1 in 5,000 because of like some like symmetry rule, but it's O of n squared, right? So what's kind of fun is that as you improve your win rate of Black Deck Gold Stake, your odds of winning this challenge of doing 2 in a row actually goes up by n squared, or like down by n squared. So like if you improve from 1 in 100 to 1 in 50, now you'll get the success 4 times as fast. And then if you go down to 1 in 25, you win 16 times as fast. So I don't know. I think that's just an interesting mathematical quirk, and I don't know what my rate is. I'm not tracking these things. I think like you'd have to be like kind of like obsessive to try to track. But I think it's like, you know, if I wanted to win like 3 times in a row, that's gonna be like cubic. So at that point, like, it probably isn't a good idea just to keep like re-rolling and re-rolling. Like I should just like get better at the game. The other thing that I thought about, okay, so now I see that like a lot of my full houses have a lot of kings, so I must have like deck fixed to like add a lot more kings. I don't know. But anyway, I know that Dr. Spectre, who is a very well-known Balatro player, Balatro University, has this quote, and he says that every seed is winnable, including Gold Stake. And he has a series where he tries to play, like maybe like some fan will send him a really difficult seed, and he'll try to find a way, and then the fan will be like, I don't see any way you can like escape ante 3 or something like that. Like every joker, every tarot card you can pull just doesn't help you. So yeah, I'm trying to create more kings. So I don't know how many kings I have. Fool is on strength. So strength is actually really good for full houses because you can change 2 cards, which means you can make 2 numbers less likely and 2 numbers or 2 ranks more likely, which is like amazing. Anyway, so I guess like I hold strength just as like a safety net, so I don't want to use it if I don't have to. So I have 3 and 9, so there's a full house, which means like I can save my strength for later. So now I'm up to I finished ante 5, so I'm 5/8 the way to the end. So anyway, the thing I wanted to like, I was wondering about Dr. Spectre's quote that every Gold Stake seed is winnable, is like, is every seed winnable assuming you don't have mystical knowledge about what like what pulls will happen later, like what jokers will show up in the shop? Like, let's assume that you are a supercomputer that can sort of like analyze all the trillions of possible paths that are in the future, like all the branching factors. Like that doesn't scare you. You can just do math like on a godlike level, but you still can't read the future. You still don't know what jokers are coming. In that case, is it still true that every seed is winnable? Because I think that's a very different question, and is it a lot closer to what a pro human player could actually strive towards. Because like, say you know that no scoring jokers are coming up, in that case, like you might have to, like if you were to know that just magically, it would change your strategy entirely. But you can't know that. Like I guess what I'm saying is like, just based on what the game is showing you and no other information, even if you're a god player, would you be able to win every seed? I don't think you would. That's just my theory, because some Black Deck Gold Stake seeds just feel like they don't give you many scoring options. So anyway, like if that is true, then I think trying to win this game does mean that like you have to win a Black Deck Gold Stake run, and then the very next run you just have to hope. Like you just have to rely on hope that like it starts you off well, and then skill will take you to the end. But like, you know, just like all things, like Rubik's Cube solving, or even just like running 100. Well, actually, running 100 meters is like not a good example. Neither is chess, because chess is predictable. But like, yeah, Minecraft speedrunning is, it's like you have to rely on a bit of luck, and if you just play long enough, eventually it'll happen. But yeah, okay, so I think, I don't know if I should keep commentating. So I'm at the like, what, 15-minute mark of rambling. So yeah, I guess I picked up Constellation, which is the Joker in the upper right, and I also picked up an eternal holographic Joker that like it's plus 10 molt because it's holographic, and I think it's also plus 10 because of if you play 2-pair. And sometimes I'm like, why would I do that? Because like every Joker I get is reducing the effectiveness of a Joker stencil. But like the thing is, when it comes to any like scaling molt, the early scalings are always the most impactful. So like when you have a hologram and then you add one card and the hologram goes from ×1 to ×1.25, that's a 20% increase. Yeah, 25% increase. But if hologram's already at 10, like ×10, and then you add another card and it goes to ×10.25, that's only like a 2% increase. So the reason, so I'm sacrificing Joker stencil, taking it from ×4 down to ×3, which is a 33% decrease. But if I get enough planet cards, which is like not that hard when your econ's good, then like those first few planets will scale up constellation from ×1 up to ×1.3 very quickly, and then it can keep going. So it's like it keeps growing faster and faster. And I think by the end of this run, like constellation will easily outpace Joker stencil, but together they'll work better. So I think that was the right move. As for like the holographic like 2-pair Joker, like that's more questionable because it's eternal, so like it'll never scale and I can't get rid of it. But like having a base 20 molt like will make everything a lot easier. So I don't know. Also, like if I'm playing for full houses, then it's already kind of like in the right lane of what hand I'm trying to play. So I think I'm just trying to get full houses where there's 3 kings and then a pair of anything else. And I think the rest of the run is just sort of like getting as many planet cards as possible and also just creating as many kings. So that is very fun. Yeah, so what else is there to talk about? Because like this recording goes on for an hour, so I'm kind of realizing that like I actually don't know if I have much more to say for an hour. I think that I've heard that there's been some talk about what would happen in the next Balatro update. I know that Local Thunk said that it isn't going to happen this calendar year, which I'm totally okay with. And like the amount of like audience that's watching him now that didn't used to is probably overwhelming. To go from like basically having no followers to like millions, because I know like at least 5 million people have bought this game, must be very intimidating. So yeah, however long it takes, like Local Thunk, like take your time. But like, yeah, like getting, I must have gotten the telescope voucher because like I'm getting the Earth planet card every time, and so that's like leveling up full house, but it's also making my constellation stronger. And I think at some point, well, okay, I think so. I can see the voucher is hieroglyph, which will take me back a hand, or back a ante, which will give me more time to scale constellation. But having 2 hands, I guess that's like a question in my head, like do I want to risk losing a hand? Because when you have a like strategy where you kind of put all your scoring into a single hand, like this sort of, it's like if you don't win on a single hand, like that would be bad. Like you should try to win on a single hand. Then like it actually isn't so bad to lose a hand. I guess you also lose money, so I don't really know. But I think I end up not taking it. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, but like High Priestess is really good because it basically is free scaling for constellation. It's plus 0.2 molt, and I think, yeah, I'll just keep doing this to the end. Also, yeah, like getting Joker stencil runs are always so weird because like it feels like buying any Joker and adding it to your collection is like penalized very strongly. So you have to be very like special or very particular about which Jokers actually like you can only get Jokers that benefit you by more than what you're losing on Joker stencil. Also, I feel like Wheel of Fortune, which I just tried there, is like really unpowerful. Like the amount it can actually help you, especially when you're in the late game, is actually not that much, unless you like plus 10 molt is just not a big deal at a higher scale, and 50 chips is also maybe not that much. And also for it to be a 1 in 4 chance, like I think almost even if it was 1 in 2 chance, sometimes it's just not worth it. But I guess, you know, it did become the meme of like the gambling addiction that like never pays out. So, you know, if it's good for like marketing, then maybe it's worth keeping in the game. Like if everything was predictable, then there wouldn't be any like OMG moments. Okay, so I guess I did claim the hieroglyph voucher. So I did kind of think to myself, I can survive with 2 hands and 2 discards. And it's kind of crazy that I kept Golden Joker this long. Like plus $4 doesn't feel like very much when you could have things like mail-in rebate, which could give you like $15 a round, or like satellite, which could like scale up to like plus $8 a round pretty easily. Like, or even like Cloud9, or just a lot of like Golden Joker is like one of the, it's like, it's reliable, but it's just kind of like not very flexible. So the fact that it's stuck around this long is kind of crazy. Oh yeah, I guess Blue sails, I feel like blue seals to me are just like an instant get. Like it just feels like I used to not like them when I was a beginner player. I guess I'm not like saying I'm not a beginner anymore, but like it just feels like leveling up a planet is something that helps you, and like there's no downside. Like you know, with a Joker, it's like it takes up a Joker slot. It's like there's opportunity cost for leveling up these hands. There's no opportunity cost. Also, so I just bought Seeing Double as a Joker that times 2s my score if I have a club and another card, and that lowers Joker Stencil's power from times 3 down to times 2, because remember I have 6 Joker slots. So now what I'm doing is I'm basically gambling by saying that like if I have a club and another thing, I'm getting times 2, which is times 4, whereas before I have a reliable times 3, and then if I don't get a club, then I get times 2. So I'm basically splitting the times 3 into some options as times 2 and some as times 4. But I know that I have a decent number of clubs, so getting the times 4 like it is here is actually not that hard. And also wild cards would do the trick too. But like I think that's one of the fun things about Balatro, is that you're always doing math in your head about these things. And I guess like as someone who did a lot of competitive math in high school, it feels very fun. Okay, here's an interesting thing. I get Black Hole because I want to level up Full House, but Black Hole is technically not a planet card, so it doesn't level up Constellation. So there are certain situations where when you are offered a Black Hole from a planet pack, you actually don't want to take it because maybe you want to level up like Constellation more. Like it's a very rare case, but like it probably happens occasionally. So I think at this point, I think like it's all just about times molt. Like I just need more X molt, and like right now it's times 4, which is like not the greatest. But I guess like, yeah, with the ace with the blue seal, like okay, there I already have a full house and it already has a club. There is a slight like risk that if I turn everything into clubs, then Seeing Double won't activate, but I think that's quite rare. Like every suit starts off by compromising 1/4 of the deck, and in order for you to get to the point, it's like way more likely that you pull a hand with no clubs than you pull a hand with too many clubs. Like the clubs would have to reach a point of, okay, full house level 18, like that's pretty cool. Like the clubs would have to reach over 75% of your deck for it to become like a real, well, I don't know, it could become a risk anyway. I've definitely been guilty of like going for a full house run and then accidentally playing a flush house. Oh yeah, okay, so I just deathed that ace with a blue seal, so now like I have multiple blue seals, which is great. I didn't take the glass card, which I feel like glass cards, like I used to love glass cards, but then I think now that like it feels like it's helpful when you're in the last few antes, like because the real thing in Balatro is that you're always trying to create long-term success, especially if you're not near the end. And if you're trying to get long-term success, having glass cards that shatter is really bad. But like if you're like either near the very end of the game, like you're playing the final boss blind, or you're in a very dire situation where you won't even score enough to survive. Okay, oh look, so okay, there's a rental blueprint, $1, but like blueprint is like, there's just so many ways you can use blueprint, and I already have a pretty high X mult with Constellation that's just like an obvious get. At least I think it is now, but I'm definitely like contemplating what to do. So right now, Stencil's giving me nothing because there's no empty Joker slots, so it's times 1. But I got rid of Seeing Double, so Stencil goes up to times 2, whereas before it was times 2, but with a condition. It's contingent on me having a club card. So like selling it was just like turning a condition into an absolute that I always get times 2. And I think that Constellation's up to like times 3 or something. So now I have times 2, times 3, which is times 18. Wait, what is it? Times 2.7. So it's getting close. So I think at this point, and Needle, like for this type of, okay, well, it's kind of a little risky. So I have like quite a few. Actually, I don't have that many kings. I guess it's kings and jacks in this case. So it's actually kind of, oh, there's the full house. Needle is like scary when you're like playing straights or something where it's like it takes a lot of attempts to get the hand you want, but when you do get that hand, it does really well. But like it's less scary here, especially because I only have 2 hands anyway, so like going down from 2 to 1 is not a huge deal. Okay, there's hit the road Jack, which is like, some people say it's like the worst rare Joker, but like I've actually thought to myself that if I could create a deck that has like a decent number of jacks, it could actually like be like a lifesaver. Because like just imagine discarding 5 jacks and being up at times 6. Oh no, you'd be at times 4. No, you'd be at times 3.5 molts. I don't know. Well, okay, yeah, people say it's bad. I mean, but people also say Obelisk is bad as it's not. Okay, so The final boss line I got was Violet Vessel, which is, I mean, like for most runs, it's probably like the worst boss line to get. But if I can, I don't know. I think that like it means you have nothing to worry about. Like you have no like weird like contingencies or restrictions on yourself. Okay, so I guess I just play this. So this is like one of the rare full houses I play that aren't of kings and jacks. And it doesn't mean I get I don't get the blue seals, but like I only had one hand left, so I didn't want to risk it. So I guess like come to think of it, like there are a few close calls in this run. And so yeah, now we're up to ×3 on Constellation. But I think, yeah, so Violet Vessel turns the 400k goal into 1.2 million. So whereas the wall was kind of like the mini version of the point increaser ×2ing it, Violet Vessel is like the big boss blind being like ×3. So death is like really good as a lifesaver. Here, I think I'm trying to decide if I should save it or if I should play it to get the blue vessel. Well, okay, here's the thing. It's like the blue seal is less and less impactful the later in the game we are. So I'm already scoring 766, which means that I just need to get 2 full houses and then I win. Well, actually, that's still kind of hard though because I really only have 2 hands. So I think I level that up and then I can get the planet thing with the telescope to get another level up. But I think in my head I'm realizing that doesn't guarantee I'll win with one shot because now I'm probably at like 800 or 900k. But then, oh no, okay, then I get a baseball card, and this is an interesting one because I have a few uncommon. So, oh no, okay, I guess I just skipped past it. Never mind, because I guess like Constellation's my only uncommon. So actually, I would lose the Joker slot for a stencil, and I would just gain ×1.5. So that would not be worth it at all. But I think that I am like doing math and realizing like okay, so okay, that's smart because I sold golden Joker. I forgot about that. I can always sell golden Joker and then increase stencil from ×2 to ×3. So that turns the 900k into like 1.3 million. So I think in my head I'm thinking one shot at one full house is enough. So I just play it and then I think I win thanks to the stencil being a little bit higher than it normally is. Because yeah, it's okay, so I win, hooray, oh my god. So that's one win, but I mean that happens all the time, right? Like winning one time just like means getting okay, I take a screenshot every time, but like it just means that like you got a good seed at the start. Now like the real challenge comes in. Now I will be thrust into another seed and I only have one shot. Okay, so yeah, I'm like just kind of like looking through everything that this game is just to, I don't know, just for like archival reasons or something, and then I'm going to restart. Yeah, so that run I think was really just saved because Joker stencil is so OP at the beginning. But look, okay, so now I have to work with this no matter what I get, and I think I'm trying to get a flush, but there weren't. Oh, okay. Well, then I noticed there was a full house anyway, so like, I might as well play that. Oh. Okay, so I probably like was swearing at the screen right there because 296 is kind of shockingly low. Like, I think that when I saw the full house and it was like 3 queens, I was like, that has to win. But 2s give you surprisingly few chips. So I'm trying to remember how this run went. Okay, so all right, I remember now. Okay, so there's an Eternal Burglar, and I very rarely play burglar runs. But in a way, Burglar is an Econ Joker because it'll turn. So first of all, a black deck gold stake only gives you 2 discards. So to gain 3 hands at a cost of 2 discards actually gives you 1 more action to remove cards. So like, even like not thinking about Econ at all, like Burglar like makes it easier to pull hands. But given that like we have so many hands, also, oh yeah, okay, I'm remembering okay, this run was like from a few days ago, maybe a week ago, so I forgot kind of how this run went, but now I'm starting to remember. So Burglar is like Econ. If you can like one shot right now, then I would get like +5 money just from the hands, and then I guess I'm also trying to do 2 pair again from the Mad Joker, but that's perishable, so it won't last forever. So I don't want to spoil what's going to happen later in this run, but what I will say is that I made like countless mistakes, and I'm going to like mention it every time a mistake happens because you know, I feel no shame. But yeah, I think that like yeah, like Econ is just so important that I kind of almost wish, like, it feels like maybe there's a version of Balatro where you are given by RNG, like there's jokers in the econ category and jokers in the scoring category, and you're given one of each by default, because when you're only given econ, you can't even win the first few rounds. But if you're only given scoring, you will go bankrupt. So it feels like that is too RNG based, but I don't know, maybe that's too much of a overhaul to how the game would work. So I guess I also got the egg for econ. Like, you know, temperance is gonna get better, but I mean, it'll only happen 5 times, so temperance will only improve by 5 times $3 equals $15. Wait, okay, so I guess I'm trying to decide if I should get the Uranus, but why am I like contemplating so much? I guess like it lines up with the Mad Joker, but that's perishable, so I don't know if I want to commit to it. So what is my goal? So yeah, I guess like I can't discard anything, so also like it's eternal, so I literally like will never be able to discard anything for the rest of this run. So mail-in rebate would be pointless. I guess purple seals have become pointless, and I guess like that was a sacrifice I'm willing to make because econ is just so important. So I'm still trying to figure out like why I didn't get the Uranus planet card. Obviously it still worked out in the end, so we don't have to worry, but I don't know what was going through my head at the time. I mean, also Uranus cards scale very slowly. It's only +1 molt. Okay, Immolate is like an instant take. I feel like the money is just so helpful, and also having a thinner deck. Okay, this is another thought I had about Balatro. So there's a lot of jokers that people will claim are overpowered or underpowered or need to be nerfed or boosted. So maybe one example is like Hologram getting plus 0.25 molt every card also turns into one of the most powerful. Okay, so this wins, I think. Like plus 10 molt 2 pair. Anyway, wait, why is it only? Oh, so it's +4. So I have 4 hands because Needle forces me down to 1 hand, but then Burglar adds 3 to make that 4. So Needle is not as scary as it usually is. So that actually does not win. That's kind of scary for me. Anyway, so people are always saying like that Joker needs to be nerfed. Like Hologram maybe should be not plus 0.25, but maybe plus 0.2 or plus 0.15. And okay, that makes sense. But I always wondered to myself, these are all sort of like requests that are being made manually. What if you like automate that into a system, like a kind of virtual economy online, where like when you play the game, it tracks the number of times Jokers are bought by across all 5 million players, or maybe like it just tracks based on like expert players or something. Ones who have played like over 100 hours or something. And what it does is if it notices a Joker is being sold less than the average across all Jokers, it lowers the price of that Joker for all players until it reaches some equilibrium where it becomes more and more worth it to buy. So for example, like a Joker that everyone hates, maybe like 8-Ball, it would... Okay, so I get an Eternal Blueprint that's an instant take, even though it is Eternal. I feel like that's one of the few Jokers where you'll never regret taking it. So, okay, here's where I can reveal the mistakes I would always make. So Burglar can be copied by Blueprint at the start of every round to give you +6 hands now, because it'll operate twice. So that means that like we have 9 hands, which is like ridiculous. So if we one-shot... Okay, I'm selling trading card. I'm not sure why. Oh, because I can't discard. So I guess I brain farted there. I forgot that. So anyway, if I one-shot something, I will gain $8, which is like crazy. So I might as well reveal now. Throughout this run, I forget to move Blueprint to copy Burglar countless times. And I don't even blame myself for doing this too much, because what ends up happening is like very few Jokers operate when Burglar does. I think like, you know, when you select a blind, you know, when you start a round, I think it's like Ceremonial Dagger does it. Madness might operate, but like very few. So like, whereas like we're all used to moving Blueprint every time we want to use DNA or mail-in rebate, I feel like it's not very normal to move Blueprint every time you start a round. Like that just doesn't feel very natural. So I think okay, so I need some scoring because like I actually haven't been focusing. So I'm going slower on this run than the previous run because it is higher stakes. Like it's a situation that I won't find myself in very often. So I did remember at that time to move it and then move it back, but like it just doesn't feel very natural compared to other things. Anyway, so what I was saying about the kind of equilibrium adjusting Jokers. Why am I selecting these cards? Because the Queen is like, this isn't the 2 pair. This is just a single pair. Oh, I'm trying to get a flush. Oh, I'm trying to get a flush because I want it, because I no longer have boosted 2 pairs. I have boosted aces, which is like, obviously you want to keep your aces in hand. So yeah, so I thought to myself, like, if you were to do that and just make Jokers that are like not bought a lot cheaper and cheaper until they do get bought a lot, and make Jokers that are bought too much more and more expensive until they're bought the same as average, then you'd find things like Blueprint will get more and more expensive. There's temporary mail-in rebate. It costs $3 a round, but if you can guarantee at least 1 successful discard, it already pays for itself, so that's an easy buy. Yeah, what would happen in that kind of constantly adjusting marketplace? Eventually it would settle into an equilibrium, and then you can like stop the kind of data collection, but like, you know, it would be interesting. And I think like one reason I think about that is that Immolate, in my eyes, is easily one of the most. Oh, I could get golden. Oh, no, I can't afford golden joker. So I'm actually poor right now, which is like shocking. So okay, look at this. I forgot to move blueprint. So I literally just like lost out on $3 for no reason. Like I literally at zero cost. And I think I'm probably swearing at the screen right now. You can't hear me because it's not recording. So anyway, like Immolate is like by far the best spectral card to ever take. Because, you know, $20 is so much, and thinning your deck is also a benefit in and of its own, like, right. But, like, what if that number 20 was also something that could be equilibriumized? And so, like, maybe as you play the game or as months pass, you notice, like, wow, now I play Balatro and it only gives me $18, now 17. And some people would be like, oh, that sucks. Like the game is, like, not, it's a single player game. Like, why does it have to evolve? Like, isn't it okay if some cards are better than others? But, like, I think the game is most well balanced when every spectral card feels equally worth it, except for the fact that, like, sometimes you kind of cater towards different builds, right? Like if you are catering towards like a Nan E-Inf build, maybe you don't want to immolate when you have a lot of kings in the hand or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but like I think overall it's kind of like not a good thing that like I will never buy Seance because that's just one of the worst jokers. I will never buy, I mean, I rarely buy like Superposition. That to me feels like it's a missed opportunity to like make certain jokers like actually shine, you know? Like I think it would be cool if like every joker had an equal chance to be learned. And I think, yeah. Okay, so I'm copying Scholar because like I guess like in this situation aces are my saving grace. I really haven't been focusing on scoring because I guess that like this is such a weird build for me. So like blueprint copying Scholar isn't even like the best scoring joker, so I feel like blueprint copying it, it's like I'm kind of desperate for whatever can work. So I think that like at this point, like I did think to myself like this might not be the 2 in a row win. And by the way, like, you know, since I've been trying this for a few weeks, like there have been like dozens of black deck gold stake wins that have immediately led into like a seed that I couldn't even get past ante 1. Like this happened many times. So like for me to even get to ante 4 on the second one is crazy. Also, Riffraff is a really good joker for gold stake, even rental, because it'll just produce jokers over and over again that I can keep selling with the empty joker slot, and that's just more econ. And sometimes it'll produce a joker that you really want, and then you don't need to sell it. You just got a free good joker. So I guess at this point, like, yeah, I'm really just trying to get hands that have as many aces as possible, but I'm also kind of in a precarious situation because that Scholar is going to disappear at some point. So one thing I did think about perishable jokers is like, one reason that they're more difficult is because you can't deck build with an expectation that that's going to like keep helping you. If I kept like deathing like face cards into aces and then I lose Scholar and then I get another like joker like Photograph, now Photograph is actually weaker because of it. So I think, yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why, you know, gold stake is harder and why perishables make the game more interesting. It's like now you have to think to yourself like, do I want to keep Scholar? Like, I guess I'm definitely thinking about like getting rid of it and seeing what Riffraff gives me. I guess I keep it. Okay, Photograph, like literally, I didn't even remember that Photograph was given to me, but, and also Riffraff creates clean jokers, I think. I know they're all common, so it's like you'll never get a blueprint, but like you'll never get a rental from Riffraff or a Eternal or a perishable. So I think that's really helpful because in gold stake, you know, it's not very often you get these clean jokers that you can sell whenever you want. So at this point, yeah, like I guess I don't even know like what type of hand I'm trying to go for, but okay, I guess flush. See, flush is still level 1, but I'm still going for it, and we need to score 13,000. So okay, well, raised fist. Actually, unironically, like I only recently realized how powerful raised fist is. Like, given that like half of your cards are like 9 chips or higher, you're getting like 18 molt or more. And when I say half, it's like sometimes it's like easy to think like, oh, well, the lowest is 1 and the highest is 10, so the midpoint is 5. But it's actually not true because all face cards are 10 chips, aces are 10 chips, and 9 is 9 chips. So it's like you have 9, 10, king, queen, jack, ace. All those 6 cards are giving you 9 chips, and that's about half of your deck already. So you can basically think that like if you play a lot of hands that are not 5 cards, like pairs, high cards, even 2 pair, raised fist is a lot stronger because you can play your hand, and then also for the extra like 5th card that isn't going to score, you can play the lowest ranked card, which will make the next lowest ranked card a little bit better. So yeah, now I'm at ante 4. Like I think the scoring is probably close to like 20,000. So I'm kind of like trying to figure out how I keep scoring well enough to survive. Well, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I guess like I guess I didn't. All I know is I didn't die. Okay, so I did remember to move blueprint that time. But like I don't even know like when I open the Arcana pack, I don't know what I'm trying to build for. But I'm sure like that starts to materialize at some point. Well, yeah, I guess I'll just watch myself and see what happens. So, yeah, I think like. Yeah, Balatro economy slowly evolving over time would be really interesting. But I think that like there is an argument to be made, and I agree with this argument that if there are edits to be made to the Balatro game, it might be best to just call it Balatro 2 and kind of lock what Balatro currently is in place, because people will start to get very used to it and start to say like, oh, I'm the expert in that. Okay, so I guess like I'm just playing a pair but trying to really get raised fists to do the most possible. Where's my chips coming from then? I guess I'm not thinking about that. I guess that wasn't... Okay, well... now this hand is really good. Well, I should move blueprint. Yeah, okay, I did do that. Yeah, it's sort of like the way that like someone can become an expert of Minecraft version 1.7.3 beta. Like, I know that's a very well-liked OG classic version. It's like... Once you... Like, you should know the rules of the game that you're playing, like, down pat, and there shouldn't be any sort of, like, uncertainty. Oh no, okay, this kind of scared me. I forget, like, the eye unironically kills me more often than I like to admit, because, like, sometimes I will not pay attention to it because it's, like, not a scary blind like the plant is, or, I don't know, there's a lot of scary ones. But then, like, I'll play, like, a straight for my first hand, and then, like, because I'm like, oh, straights are really cool, but, like, you know, you might not pull another straight because those are kind of, like, sporadic. And then it's like, well, nothing else will score, and then you just lose. So I think that the eye is unironically something to really pay attention to. Okay, so I got Eternal Sock and Buskin. I guess like I'm thinking to myself, like, photograph is now going from ×2 molt to ×4. And not only that, blueprint is going to so blueprint copying Sock and Buskin will make every face card trigger 3 times. So now photograph goes up from ×2 to ×8. But actually, if blueprint copies photograph, now I go from 3 triggers down to 2 triggers, but every trigger features 2 photographs, so it's ×4 equals ×16. So actually, it's probably better for blueprint to copy photograph. And here's where I think that like my vision for what hand I want to play starts to kind of solidify more. Like, I'm trying to create, I think what it is 2 pairs where one of the pairs is face cards, and then photograph and Sock and Buskin will ×16 the molt on that. So I forgot to move blueprint, and then I probably like cursed at the screen again because like I only have 6 hands, but I should have 9. So like this run could have gone way easier if I'd remembered that. Like I do wonder, like, is that, I mean, okay, I was gonna say, like, is that good game design? In some sense, like, you shouldn't force a game to handhold for you, and it's like should Minecraft like warn you you're about to die from fall damage? That would be really cringe and boring. Oh yeah, well, I guess like for this hand, it's not going to be the winning score, but like that's the only like Joker to copy that would actually help it. But like sometimes, like, you know, when it comes to, let's say, yeah, the eye, the boss blind that only lets you play one hand type, it is really helpful that like on the screen it will say this hand you're about to play will not score because it's not the same. And if it didn't put that text, technically really astute players would still know that, but the vast majority of players just aren't keeping tabs. So like it is helpful to have a bit of hand holding. And I guess like that's you know, I know an older version of Balatro, like version 0.9, it didn't have that starting text. So, you know, that's definitely something that probably like fans, like early beta testers were like, hey, Local Thunk, I keep making this mistake over and over when I get to the hand or the mouth, which is the opposite. Like, you can't play the same hand type twice. It's like, then he was probably like, oh, now I know, like, this is something that would only improve the game. But, like, how far do you want to do that hand holding? I guess that's one of the big questions when you do game design is, like, do you want the players to feel like they have agency and let them slip up on their own? Or should you, like, prevent these kind of dumb mess ups? So I remember that time. I do think that, like, when it comes to... Well, I don't know, like, that is a debate. I haven't done, like, game development for a long time. Sometimes it does feel like with how good AI has gotten lately, which is, you know, concerning, like, in some circles, it's probably very exciting. In other circles, it's like, oh no, like I'm losing my job, so like both are happening at the same time, you know. It's a very complicated subject. But I do think to myself, like the mistakes I make in Balatro are mistakes that an AI would not make. Now, I don't know if there's an AI that plays Balatro, but like something simple that's just like keep tabs on moving blueprint at the start of every round is literally like something that you could write in an if statement that's like 2 lines of code, right? So there's that. The other thing that I was going to say is that I know there's a lot of videos that are sort of like essays. So, okay, here's the 2 pair. This is like where my like, okay, so are my, so the Joker placement is correct. I should be always copying photograph. And this is another thing I want to point out, that I do forget to do this correctly too, like it's copying photograph. Because photograph times 16 is for the molt. So it goes from times 6 to times 96. And 96 is 6 times 16, duh. So anyway, there's a lot of video essays on why Balatro was such a big success. And I know that like it's a big success story to think that like this is a game made by a single indie developer. It didn't require, well, it probably took some funding and it took, you know, many years of work, but like it's not like you need like support from some huge investing firm, or like you need to be like sponsored by EA Games or Ubisoft or whatever. Like you can make it on your own. It's so inspirational. So these video essays try to point out, like, obviously most indie games don't succeed, so what is it about Balatro that made it succeed? And they often point out that when you die in Balatro, you feel like it's your own fault and it's something that could be avoided. Whereas when you die in like a not well game, I mean, I don't want to like hate on any games, but like a platformer, let's say, where the jump feature is very unresponsive, then you start to like curse at the game. You're like, game, why didn't you respond to me pressing spacebar? Like, this is a badly made game. That's like a horrible way to die. So, oh, Mad Joker is back. After all this time, it's sort of like 2 pairs always seems to win. So what was I gonna say? Yeah, like maybe the fact that like, okay, so look, I should move blueprint right now. I forgot. Like, okay, whatever. The fact that like the game lets you make stupid mistakes on your own behalf, like maybe, I don't want to say that's intentional, but like it makes you feel like, oh, if I just go at it again, I as my own independent person will know not to make the mistake again. Whereas in full reality, you will make that mistake again. Also, when you have jokers that multiply your score kind of exponentially, like this sort of sock and buskin photograph setup, planet cards become like a, oh shoot, see, I forgot there you can't, or I don't know if I forgot, maybe I didn't. Okay, so I'm playing the mouth, which is the inverse of the eye. So I guess that I must have like realized that and then not played my standard 2 pair first, so I could save my 2 pair for like a later hand to kind of clinch the win. Oh, also, I noticed the lucky card there really helped me out because it got me plus 20 volt. Anyway, so what I was gonna say is that like when you have additive jokers like spare trousers, or just like the whole set of like zany joker, mad joker, all those, planet cards matter less. I mean, they still matter at some point, but like, because like, let's say you go from plus 2 molt to plus 3 molt because of the planet, that spare trousers adding on like plus 32 molt instantly like kind of dwarves it. It doesn't even matter. But like right now I have photograph basically operating 4 times, so it's times 16ing my base molt. So every if I can increase my base molt on 2 pair from like times, or from plus 6 to plus 7, I'm increasing the final result from times plus 96 to times, I can't do math, 112 or whatever it is, because it's being multiplied. So I guess my point is like, when you're multiplying, you really need to focus on planet cards, which I don't know if I have been. I don't know if I even have any blue seals in this deck yet. But I think that's just sort of like sometimes a relief. Like sometimes you put yourself in a situation where, oh, I forgot to move blueprint again. You put yourself in a situation where you realize the planet cards actually don't matter much. Like if you do that classic run where it's spare trousers and square joker and they both scale really high, you actually don't need planets much at all. Or like if you do like green joker, ride the bus, and castle, and like for chips and plus molt, then when you look at what a planet card does, you can just think to yourself like, that's the same thing as what like 3 discards will do for me, which, you know, is still like good to have. Oh, also I barely one-shotted that round 60k. So yeah, I guess like my plan here is to just keep getting celestial packs and hope for Uranuses. And I do not have telescope, I can tell, because Uranus is not the first one, so I just have to get lucky. There's a blue seal. I think that's an instant take. Like I know myself too well. Like I just know I'm going to take that. And I think I just hope I pull that again and again. And I guess like I don't normally do math like this. Some people do, and I should, where I think to myself, if I have 9 hands, will I be able to see my entire deck? Because that actually like changes gameplay a lot. You can really like dig deep and rely on that card you're looking for. See, I didn't move blueprint again. So I guess if I did math now, you start with eight cards in your hand, so there's 41 left in the deck, and then I have, let's see, 8 chances to pull more. So 41 times, and then 5 times 8 is 40. So I will see all but 1 card. I mean, except I'm playing 2 pairs, and like, I guess I could put a 5th card in that set and have it not score, and then, you know, I could still dig all the way through except for 1 remaining card, like this, you know, where I have the 7 kind of just dangling at the end. So here I have the blue seal in my hand, so I'm gonna get another Uranus, which, okay, if we, oh no, that doesn't win actually, but I still have it there, and then I get another 2 pair. 2 pairs, like, actually, I like how easy it is, because like, from first glance I might be like, well, getting 2 pairs might be hard, but like, if you have a random hand of like a whole bunch of non-matching cards, you only need 2 extra cards from the new draw to match what you had before to turn those into pairs. So like, the fact you can pull from that. Okay, so I'm gonna level up 2 pair, so I go from 10 base molt to 11, which means that after all the multiplying, it's going to go from 160 to 176. And I'm also quite sad there that I didn't have Uranus. This is always a question I wonder, that if I open a planet pack and it doesn't have the hands I want to level up, is it worth it to skip, or is it worth it to still level them up, just in the odd case that I am left with like a hand that cannot play my standard like power play hand? I need a default to like a more not as leveled up hand. But, you know, there's also that situation with the Fool, where it's like, if your last planet card you played was your, you know, power hand, and then you like overwrite that with like a nonsense throwaway hand, then like the Fool will copy that throwaway hand, and then you've screwed yourself over. So that's always like something that I'm not sure about. So I guess I sold To the Moon, so that's like less money. Now I have 2 rentals, which is not great, but actually like, business card in this situation is more than paying itself off. Like Sock and Buskin is actually like a, okay, so I did move blueprint that way correctly. I'm on the end of anti-6, so it's only 7 more rounds to go. I very rarely skip, by the way, but Sock and Buskin is actually crazy right now, because like, it's turning, so the expected value of playing a face card is normally $1, because it's a half chance you make $2, but Sock and Buskin is turning that into $4, and then if I'm willing to sacrifice the scoring and have blueprint copy that, it's an average expected value of $6, which is just, wait, is that right? Or I don't know, I might be off, maybe it's $3. So it's basically like every face card has a gold seal on it right now. So yeah, I think that like, I am getting a lot of, like, the fact I have so many hands makes me feel a bit more confident that I can pull the 2 pairs. Like, you know, I keep the queens in hand and like just hope that another pair happens, and it doesn't, but you know, that's fine. So actually, this is the second run in a row that Seeing Double shows up, a temporary Seeing Double, and that it's not that hard to actually play. I've seen some people recommend the idea, because Flower Pot is also one of the, from what I've seen online, one of the least liked jokers. And the way Flower Pot works is that you have to have a hand that contains at least 1 of every suit. So it has to have 1 heart, 1 club, 1 diamond, and 1 spade, and then it will give you ×3 molt. And that's such a hard thing to pull. If you have wild cards will fill whatever suit you're missing, but like, that still takes a lot of deck fixing. Okay, there's Uranus, which, you know, finally. So now I'm up to 12 molt, which times everything would be times 196 or 192. So the idea I've seen floated around on Reddit threads and all that is the idea that Flower Pot could give like times +1 molt for every suit in the hand. So if you only have 2 suits in the hand, like let's say clubs and diamonds, then it would give you ×2 molt. If you had all 4, it would give you ×4 molt. Maybe it could be scaled down if that's like too powerful, but it's an interesting idea. Although I will say that it's almost guaranteed that if you're playing straights or full houses, that like you will just by default have 3 suits in your hand already. So like, it probably needs to be scaled back a lot. But I will say that without that debuffing, or without that buffing to the Flower Pot Joker, I almost never take Flower Pot. Like I think that usually it's just kind of there because nothing better is out there, but like I rarely get it to activate. Okay, so anyway, what did I do? I deathed a Jack to have more Jacks, because like I really just want, honestly, like my ideal deck when I have this Joker build is to have like everything be face cards, and then just hope I don't get the plant. Oh, see, I forgot to copy Blueprint. Burglar. At this point, I think I've like missed out on at least like $25-$30, and thanks to interest that like, you know, is gonna duplicate to like $50-$60. So like, the fact I still won this and it's Black Deck Gold Stake makes me feel like, is Black Deck Gold Stake really that hard? Like there is a way in which this game could have been like, we will give you even fewer monetary rewards, and it would still be winnable if I just remembered to copy Burglar. Or maybe this is a sign that Burglar is more powerful than I thought. Or maybe it's another way of saying that like on Black Deck, or no, on any stake above Blue Stake where you get 2 discards, Burglar is a lot better. If you're playing on Red Deck, which gives you 4 discards on most levels, Burglar is sacrificing 4 discards for 3 hands, which is like maybe not the trade-off you want to do. So I didn't get Uranus again, so I'm getting kind of bad luck. But yeah, I think Blueprint is really helping out here. Like the fact it's doing multiple things. You can see that I just charged my phone. It was at 32% battery, so that's good. See, no Uranus again. Like I'm getting shockingly bad luck for something that's like supposedly a very lucky one. Okay, so here's the thing. I just saw Campfire. It's perishable and it's rental, so like 2 ways in that's really bad. But I'm on ante 7, which means that it should survive until the end of the game. I don't remember which stage of ante 7 I'm on, but like even if I'm on the very first round of it, I can just skip 1 round and the Campfire will last me to the end. So I'm thinking very hard, because Campfire can scale fast if you have good econ, which I maybe don't have right now. But Seeing Double is locked at ×2 molt. That's the highest it will ever get. Whereas Campfire can go up kind of like endlessly. So so get rid of, okay, actually that makes, wait, club, the Onyx Agate, the club booster, which is actually like one of the best like base molt jokers I got rid of, because like, I mean, I think that was like an easy sell, because after photograph, like the Onyx Agate or whatever triggers after card triggers. So the card triggers are going to happen. That's when photograph and Stock and Buskin are like card trigger jokers. So like they will all finish and get me up to like 200 molt plus before Onyx Agate even triggers, and Onyx Agate will only ever be +7, so it's basically a useless joker at that point. So Campfire is definitely like better to get. The only issue is that it's going to cost me $3 every round, and it will only actually help me if I can start selling a lot of jokers. And I can see that I have the moon in my consumable slot, and you know, it's definitely like lucky that I'm holding onto that, because like Seeing Double will only activate, like it's not activating on this hand, and so I only scored 64k, whereas with Seeing Double, if I'd used the moon, I would have gotten up to like 130k, and still not won, but like gotten close. So I think I'm holding onto the moon because like I still think I can win this. I only have 2 hands left. This is getting kind of down to the wire. Actually, wait, this is crazy risky. I mean, look, I don't have a playable hand here, and I need to win, and I only have 2 hands, which means that like I have to use my second to last hand as a throwaway, and then just hope that whatever comes up next. Like I see I have a good number of queens, but I have to pray to God, pray to local thunk that I get another queen, and I do, like barely. Like if that queen of spades didn't happen, the run would be over, right? Because I couldn't play that. But now this does have a club already, so I know like I will get the ×2, and 65 ×2 is 130. 65 plus 130 will give me about 200k. It beats the big blind, but not by a big enough margin to feel comfortable with. So you can definitely think that you can see that I'm a little worried. I'm like pausing. I'm like, am I sure I'm doing this right? But I am. So like when I play, it should be around 200k. Yeah, 200k. But like it's still by a small enough margin that I'm a little nervous. So I think I'm watching Campfire's clock, or maybe I am. I think, and like I just have to make sure that I keep Campfire for the very last blind. So yeah, the Psychic, having to play 5 cards, not an issue at all. It's only really the Psychic. When I first learned about it as a beginner, I thought that the Psychic meant that you had to have 5 scoring cards so that you couldn't play like high card or something, but you still can, of course. Like they just have to be thrown in like junk. Okay, I did move Blueprint. Yeah, I'm learning. But so I was like, how does Psychic even hurt you? Because like you can always just throw in random cards at the end, which is true, but it is like if you rely a lot on square joker or half joker, the ones that say like you only get this bonus if you play 4 cards or 3 cards or whatever, they don't work anymore. And also if you're trying to like hold on to as many, let's say, steel cards in hand, like let's say you're doing a Nan E Inf run and like you're trying to maximize the number of red seal steel kings, having to play 5 cards just means that you have 4 fewer cards in hand, so that could actually hurt you. So yeah, I played that. It's a very standard 2 pair that got me 105k, which is exactly half of 220. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, another hand just like that will make me just barely win. Okay, so I don't know why I did that. Well, maybe there's a reason. I could watch it back and see. So here's another standard hand. It should just barely win, I think. Because I have no scaling jokers. Like if I had like trousers or ride the bus or whatever, like there's an idea that like each next hand will be slightly higher. Okay, so I actually undershot by a tiny bit. Like will be slightly higher than every hand that came before it. So you could like reliably be like, oh, I got 47% the way to my goal. I just need one more. But here that's not true. It's like every hand is basically identical. So it took me three hands instead of 2. So that's concerning. So now I'm on the last ante. Okay, driver's license, usually a crazy good joker to have. I only have 8 modified cards, so like it's just not good enough. And I'm looking at, okay, so I can't buy it. You know, obviously the chance that I can enhance 8 cards in 3 rounds and also survive those 3 rounds giving up a joker is pretty low. So I don't think I get it at all. I got telescope finally, which is like, that feels very late to get it in round 8. But I guess like I must have gotten the 2 discount vouchers, like clearance sale, because like that was only $2 to level up that. So I think I should sell the moon, or like I should start selling stuff. So actually campfire goes really well with rental jokers, which only happen, you know, on gold stake, because rental jokers cost $1. Also, that common joker, the pair one that I'm staring at on the right, is also $1. So like what that means is that if you were to buy it and then sell it, you don't lose a single dollar, because the sell value has to be at least $1. So with spending $0, you leveled up campfire by 0.25 times. And the only thing is, like, you do need an empty joker slot to hold that joker. Okay, so I guess I decided not to get it. I could have easily. Well, I guess I'm still, because what I'm thinking to myself is like I have to sacrifice a joker to get that joker, and I'm thinking to myself I still need seeing double, right? It's still times 2ing my score, and I think with it I get like 110k. Without it, I'm getting like 55k. So I can't afford to lose seeing double. But the thing is, like, if I can get campfire up to like times 2 molt, it's because campfire is still giving me times 1 molt. Like, it's literally doing nothing. But like, in order for it to beat seeing double, I have to sell 4 cards. So I guess I just wasn't confident that I could do that. And also, like, this late in the game, planet cards mean less and less, because I don't know, like they kind of build upon themselves. So if you level up near the end, I tend to find that what matters near the end of games is more just what can you draw the hand, the banger hand that you've designed your whole deck for. And like leveling up 2 pair from like 17 base molt to 18 base molt barely matters at all. That stuff does matter in the early game, because like, you know, it all ramps up and it's kind of like momentum based. But near the end game, it's really more about like, you just don't want to draw a very unlucky hand where that playable hand just isn't there anymore. Especially given that like the boss blinds tend to restrict things. Like Cerulean Bell is one of the boss blinds that like, or finisher blinds that like can make it feel like a. Okay, so anyway, I finished that one pretty well. Okay, so actually this kind of like solves my decision for me. Seeing double, you know, perishes. It's been 5 rounds and it's done. So I have to sell it. So, okay, so here I'm thinking I'm going to sell Seeing Double to level up Campfire, but Uranus will only level up my base molt from like 16 to 17 or whatever, but it will scale my Campfire. So I sell Uranus, which almost any other time I wouldn't do, because a scaling of 0.25 is significantly better than what the Uranus itself would do, you know, by leveling up 2 pair. So I think, yeah, now I'm like selling that, and now Campfire's at times 1.75 molt. Oh yeah, so now finally, at the very end, planet packs are worth it. So like, look at this. So buy this, sell it. It was plus $1, minus $1, cost me nothing. Campfire goes up to times 2 molt. Now there's another planet card. It costs $1, sell it for $1, cost me nothing. And now it's times 2.25. I guess you can't see that, but I think that's what it is. So already Campfire's higher than Seeing Double ever was. The only issue is that 2.25 molt. I need to get up to, like, the score requirement is now 400k, and Amber Acorn is also the easiest. Okay, yeah, 2.25k. So I have one more round to go. I forgot. I thought I was going into the finisher blind. I still have the big blind to go, but like I need to scale Campfire up even higher. to really like feel confident about the 400k, because like if you remember, like my base scoring is like 100k, or maybe it was even like 60k. I don't quite remember. What was I gonna say? Oh, the other thing is that like I have thought to myself that campfire is sort of like a joker that can like save you very end of game, like here, but it is actually like, because it resets only at the end of each boss blind, it is actually the weakest during small blinds, like during the very beginning of each ante, because that's like right after it resets and you haven't had time to sell as many cards. So I did think like, oh, if you hold on to campfire for a long time, you actually end up in a situation where the small blinds are the most punishing and the boss blinds might be easier. And that's also true when you get to the hyper exponential score increases, like in endless mode, you know, during like ante like 12, 13, 14. The small blinds are always the one where you see a huge increase, and then like big blind and boss blind, they're only 1.5 times bigger, 2 times bigger. Like it feels kind of pitifully small increases compared to the huge increases of like times 1,000 that the small blinds are giving you. So there's like multiple ways in which small blinds are actually the hardest rounds, but that isn't true for the early game or the main 8 antes. Okay, so again, I got a blue seal that turned into a Uranus card, but I should sell that, because yeah, like I'm turning 2.25 into 2.5, or I haven't done the math in this case, because you also get plus chips. So like I guess you'd have to figure out like, so I'm at 260 chips, it's going up to 280, and also yes, I think I didn't really do solid math, but in the back of my head I thought to myself like, the 0.25 just has to be better. I mean, that's only 10% at this point, and yeah, I could get another 2 pair that way anyway. Like now campfire's at like 2.5, so each increase is not as big, but whatever. Like I still think it's better. Like once you get to level like 20, 25, 30, planet cards are actually not as effective. So I'm gonna sell that too, I bet. Or maybe I use that one, because I see 2.75. So I did use that one, I guess. Because like, I don't know, there's sort of an equilibrium thing. Like if you sell too much, then using the planet cards starts to become more effective. If you use too many planet cards, then selling them for campfire becomes more effective. Like a lot of these things, like it's sort of like doing calculus on like which shape to enclose a lot gives you the. Oh, see, like I have an empty joker slot, and these are $2, so easily buy them and sell them. It's always a circle or always a square. Like finding an equal balance where height equals width tends to give you the most payout. That's true for like Baron Mime with like copy jokers. You want the same number of copies on Baron as Mime to make it like a square instead of like a elongated rectangle. Okay, I'm down to $13, but money doesn't really matter in the last run. And so like doing that last reroll down to $5, I get one last rental joker, which I can buy and sell, you know, buy minus max. And then also a death card, which I guess I didn't sell because like, you know, in the off chance that I don't get a 2 pair, that can help me get a 2 pair. So now here's the thing. I have Amber Acorn, which is going to shuffle my jokers. I had a huge brain fart that I want to talk about. So I want to have Blueprint copy Photograph, because that's going to ×4 my molt, I think, because of the Sock and Buskin. And I held on to Blueprint. So that's something that I do. It's like I held on to Blueprint and I put it on the left side because I wanted it to copy Burglar or something like that before moving it around. But for some reason I brain farted. So right here, I know that the rightmost card is Blueprint, but then Photograph is just the smaller card. It's the one that's like more square shaped. So I don't know why I moved. So I moved it to there, like the second position, because I was like, I need to figure out which card is Photograph. Or maybe I thought I had to copy Sock and Buskin. I don't quite know what I thought, but what I told myself is like, let me play a dummy hand, because I have 9 hands, so I can like throw away a hand, and then that hand I'll see like that text that shows up below the joker that's like, oh, ×2 molt, or again, you know, like those text blurbs, and then that will tell me what each joker is. So I turn the game speed down to ×1 to really like see it slowly so I can like track it. But the thing is, like, I didn't even need to do that in the first place, because Blueprint just needs to copy Photograph, and that gives me the optimal play. So I think I just brain farted. And also, okay, so I'm gonna play like a dummy hand somewhere. I need to play a face card though, because otherwise I don't know, like I must. Okay, so that one is Campfire. So I actually, if Campfire is ×4, I would get ×4 molt by having Blueprint copy either Campfire or Photograph. It doesn't matter. But to have Blueprint copy Sock and Buskin is only ×2. So either way, I think I did the worst possible situation that isn't copying Burglar. So I don't know what I was thinking. So I thought to myself, like, this is the correct setup. but I'm going to be getting like times 8 molt instead of times 16. So what I will say is like look at the score that this comes out. So it's going really slow so I can like try to deduce what every joker is, even though again that shouldn't have mattered. But I want you to see what the final score is, because this is what like takes my breath away. Well, not really. So I get about 200k, and like I said, I'm getting basically half the score I would if I just did the thing that I'm supposed to do, which is copy a blueprint. So that should have one-shotted the boss, which would have been a crazy way to finish off this challenge, is to be like, Black Deck Gold Stake, you're so weak in my presence that I can just beat you in one hand. That would have been like such an aura move, but I didn't do that, and it took me 2 hands again. Luckily though, like, you know, with so many hands, like it's not hard to pull like another 2 pair, so like I still win. So like I think at this point I knew I won, but like I still am going really slowly because I just want to be sure. And I'm like, oh, what other cards are there? Like, because in case it doesn't win for whatever reason, you know, there's still jacks in the deck to make another 2 pair, and then also death is there to help like duplicate another card. So wait, what am I doing? Oh, I'm making another king because there's more kings in the deck anyway. So just in like a leftover king if I need it. But why am I going so slow? It doesn't matter. I mean, this is a challenge that, like, you know, it feels like high stakes, even though it's not. Plus 40. Oh, right, because it's a bonus card. So anyway, like, yeah, it took me, like, what, 3-4 hands to win this, and when it could have taken 1, which would have been so cool. But that's just a lesson to, like think about which jokers you really want. Oh, so I won. I completed the challenge. So some things I want to say about this challenge. One thing I think is kind of like fun is that it didn't take any legendary jokers. So I think that when I like watch some of my like easiest runs, like they tend to be ones with legendary jokers. There's a screenshot. And like, you know, Yorick can scale to like plus or times 12, 13, 14 molt. So can Canio. And it feels like, oh, if you get a legendary, obviously you deserve it. Like that is all, that's a legal play. I think the video's almost done. But like, it makes it feel like a little bit easier, like, oh, this is a bit on easy mode. So I think the fact that I got 2 runs without legendaries makes it just feel a little bit more kind of legitimate and like kind of like full step solves and speed cubing. But the other thing I was gonna say is, like, I think what saved me here is one, the Joker stencil in round 1. That was basically my legendaries, is having a Joker stencil so early. And then in the second run, which had just finished there, the winning. The joker that really like sealed the deal was the burglar. Like, it's so weird to me that burglar was what saved my round, because I almost never play burglar runs. But yeah, with blueprint moving around, that definitely helped. I guess I should say that blueprint was the real winning clutch, because like blueprint can move around and duplicate anything you want it to duplicate, and I did move it around a bit. I guess it's just a way of saying that blueprint is kind of like a legendary in and of its own right. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. I didn't really know if I was going to like upload this. And also, I'm kind of impressed with myself for being able to ramble for a full hour, because I did think to myself, like, I don't want to upload an hour of no commentary, because, like, no one's going to watch an hour of just silent Balatro playing. But I thought if I added commentary, it would make it a little more engaging to sit through the whole thing. But then also, I thought to myself, like, man, I don't want to edit that all, because if I did edit it in chunks, it would take, like, several days to put it all together. Like, that's one thing that I think that non-YouTube creators don't realize, is that editing just takes forever. Like, I remember there was a 40-minute video I made of me playing this game called My Teardrop, and making a 40-second YouTube short of that, like, of the highlight reel of that gameplay took longer than the gameplay itself. So the real like takeaway there is that 40-second edited video took more work than the 40-minute playthrough, which was unedited. So that's something that's always true, and that's why I chose not to like edit my commentary all too much. But yeah, so anyway, that was a really fun challenge. I think if any of you out there are big Balatro players, and you've already gotten gold stake on every deck, which I also have, and you're looking for the next thing to do, but you don't want to go for completionist plus, because, well, that feels really RNG based, doesn't it? Like, you just don't know if you're going to ever see that last Joker you're missing in the shop ever. Like what if your last Joker without a gold sticker is like, I don't know, Obelisk, and it just never shows up in your shop ever. Like, it's not a skill issue, it's just an RNG issue. I feel like this is a fun challenge that like feels a little bit more in reach. Like Dr. Spectre said, you technically could win every seed. So like, this is a win that could happen tomorrow or today if you play your cards right. Oh, did you like that pun? So I think it's a fun challenge. Black deck gold stake is definitely like, I put myself through the ringer the first time. I did think to myself, like, I could try this on every deck, like red deck, blue deck, yellow deck, ghost deck, which is one of my favorite decks. I think that like it's definitely easier, and I don't know, like in my head, even though the game doesn't track it, I can think of getting a double gold stake like win like this is like having 2 gold stickers in a row. I'm sure like someone, I know there's like a lot of mods of Balatro. There's like the Cryptid mod and the Saturn mod or something, and I haven't tried any of them. Maybe one day I will, but like, you know, if I really cared enough to make this real, I could make a mod. I'm not gonna do it, by the way, but like where it's like the more wins you get in a row, the more times that sticker is duplicated. So if you get like 5 wins in a row, you can get 5 gold stickers, and then that way there's always like a next challenge you can get that's always just slightly out of reach from what you've done before. So again, it's like not like, it's not like the Minecraft speed runs where if you get a god seed that's like 1 in a million lucky. Like I know there was like someone who had the chance of getting like a sub 6-minute Minecraft speed run, which is crazy, but then like died at the last minute, and then there's this thought like he will probably never get a seed that lucky again because it's like 1 in a billion or something. Like that's so devastating because it's just like skill will never cover that gap. Like if RNG just isn't in your favor, you won't get the god seed again. This makes it a challenge where it feels like it's always just a little bit out of reach. Like you are, by getting better yourself, in control of the kind of gradient of improvement that you can see in the achievements. So I like that, and I think to summarize this whole video, it's a good way to kind of combine RNG with actual skill measurement that makes it just feel a lot more balanced. So yeah, I'm very proud of this. I don't think I'll make many. I mean, I play Balatro a lot. I will say the reason this isn't like live commentated is because like I play Balatro on my phone a lot when I'm bored, and I don't want to like perform for an audience. So like me adding commentary over this is like very rare. But like I play it a lot, and so I think it's fun to make a video about it, but I don't think I will become a Balatro YouTuber. I am like impressed how many Balatro YouTubers there are. I know there's like, yeah, Dr. Spectre, there's like Raffle, Rarin, Bean, Bellanos Bear, and many others. Like I've definitely seen like dozens of them. So what I think is really impressive, because like as a developer like Local Thunk, you know, that's probably the dream is to have YouTubers whose whole like genre is like making your game. Because the most that most indie devs will ever see is like a big YouTuber playing their game once, and then a couple days later they don't return to it. And like, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Like there's just so many games out there that like your Markiplier's, PewDiePie's, Jacksepticeye's. I mean, I know that like that's the OG YouTubers, but like that kind of idea, like of them dedicating their whole YouTube career to your game, that's like unheard of. Like the most you can ask for is like, oh, play it once in one video. So like what does it take for a game to be good enough and have enough replay value that like a whole YouTube channel is about it? Like Minecraft got that. You know, lots of people like Fortnite got, I mean, all the AAA games of course have YouTubers who are centered around them, but like, you know, like if there's a game that's like just purely a story, you won't have YouTubers who just make constant videos about that one story. So yeah, I know like GTA 5 had YouTubers just centered around them, and GTA 6 will as well. But I just think it's really impressive that like an indie game did it. Well, I guess Minecraft was also indie at one point. Maybe Terraria, I don't know. Well, and Tetris. Tetris is another good example of like a deceptively simple game, and there's people who have built their whole careers around it. So I just think that's like really inspiring that can happen. I hope Local Thunk is like proud of themselves, because they should be. But yeah, thank you for watching this super long ramble, and I will link a link to the unlisted, unedited version of this playthrough. Actually, I don't need to do that because like this video already is unedited, so like this already is the footage that you would need to see. I do have it like when I first got that the 2 runs, I just uploaded it to YouTube right away as an unlisted video that's like an hour long. I know this is an hour long too, but I was like, oh, if I ever edit this down to a more watchable video, I will link to it in from the edited video to the unedited version if anyone wants to see it. But this basically is that, so I don't need to do that, but I could still do it anyway. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you are a Balatro player, let me know in the comments what challenges you think would be fun. I'm not going to do any of them, but like, or maybe I will if the ideas are good enough. But okay, I've been talking for almost an hour and a half, so I'll probably end it there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.